I need to vent for a second because I have been triggered. You know, that type of trigger where you're angry or you're frustrated or even sad sometimes for no true reason. And then you sitting there and you wondering like, why am I so upset about this situation? This is the type of trigger that I encountered, and I need to talk about it. They are so sneaky triggers. They come up out of nowhere almost. But one good thing I know and I greatly appreciate is the fact that we have the ability to reset how we react to these triggers. And we're going to get into it today while I make these black beans. Hi, honey. I'm Dominique, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Building Esteem. If you are here today, I am so excited to have you. We are going to be talking all about confidence. We're going to be talking about self-awareness and also different tools that you can use in order to elevate yourself, because I'm a firm believer that you have the ability to manifest your own story. So, story time. I was hanging out and feeling a bit uncomfortable. There was a gentleman who was very interested. However, I wasn't so much interested. And I had this desire for someone to step in and protect me. No one did. So there I was sitting there in disappointment because my protector didn't come. And I became triggered in that moment. And I had to ask myself, why am I so upset? I'm sure you already know what a trigger is. You know, it's that emotional response that you get when somebody does or says something that makes you react in a particular way. It's almost like the trigger hits a button inside of you that causes you to feel an emotion at a particular time that you probably wasn't even prepared for. I had that situation happen, but it was extremely obvious to me that I was triggered at that time. But triggers, they don't always work that way. Sometimes they sneak up on you and you just have a shift in your emotion or your energy, and you're trying to figure out exactly why that thing went down the way it did, or why you are left feeling the way that you're feeling because of this trigger. So let's get into the three different ways that you can spot a trigger either inside of you or inside of someone else. The first major way, which is what I felt, was an immediate body response. I felt anxious almost because I was moving into a fight or flight response based on what had just happened. But then sometimes triggers can be sad and they make you cry, or they make you shut down emotionally and physically, where you just don't want to do anything and you kind of go into a depressive state almost. I knew in that moment that I had been triggered because my body was giving me a feeling that I had felt before. It wasn't even necessarily the fact that something happened I didn't want to happen, or I was looking for something to happen that didn't happen. It was really based on the fact that I felt this feeling before. And I understood that it was attached to an experience that I have had before. So I took a moment. I was definitely going to say something. I wanted to make sure that what I was saying was appropriate, clear, and came with more reason than emotion. So after I took a breath and gathered myself, I said what I needed to say. I laid out my standard. But after I said my piece, I triggered him. And I knew I had triggered him because he became very defensive. His tone of voice changed. His body language changed. Now, if this wasn't a loud argument or anything, but it was definitely an exchange of opinions. So, to make sure that you have the right tools, I'm going to give you a journaling prompt. And I want you to think on a time where you yourself have been triggered. It doesn't have to be an angry emotion. You could have been sad, disappointed, but the emotion that you felt was strong. I want you to write about that particular time. And once you think about it, I want you to ask yourself what belief or memory may have been attached to that particular situation. This particular exercise that I am challenging you with is a part of my workbook that we discussed in the last video. And I want you to get comfortable with asking yourself these types of questions. And really, I want to hear from you too. I want to know about a trigger that you are working through or have been able to work past. Leave a comment down below so that we all can work on this together. Self-development, self-awareness is never easy. And oftentimes you do need a community. And my hope is that this channel will create a community of support for those who are walking this journey. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this story time. And I hope you have been able to pull some examples out of my trigger story to be able to use for yourself. If you did and you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, so we can stay on this road of growth and healing together. I know it's a lot and it gets hard sometimes, but please always remember that you have the power to manifest your story. And I'm going to manifest these black things. Bye, honey.